go through things today. Today on Nearpod, what we're going to do is we're actually going to be going over police components. And then I also have some other things to talk to you about in regards to some new things that I found out. So let me share my desktop. Okay, you should be able to see that now. All right, so some things I want to mention. Well, first off, the session's going to be recorded. There you know. We've already gone over the expectations several times, right? Follow along with the Nearpod lesson, use the chat appropriately, and respond to questions and instructions the first time. So we'll go over this in a second, but I wanted to jump just into your course real quick. So remember, recordings are always going to be posted right here. I am going to tell you I will be out next week. So I'm going to have a recorded lesson that will be posting here in the class announcements. And then I'll open up your assignment and everything on here. But let's just go over the calendar because there's another thing that I need to bring up. So we always have live classes on Thursday. I've been actually giving you till like Wednesday to finish the things up. So everything I have due on Wednesday, and then we'll have the live class again on Thursday. We only have a couple more units to go through, and then also one that kind of talks about careers in criminal justice. But I think hopefully you remember the very first class I was talking about saying that there might be a skill cert test. So if you want to get a certificate about that you passed this class and that you understand criminal justice, that kind of stuff, we're going to have a skill cert test from 2 o'clock until 4:30 on Thursday the 14th. Okay. This is my first time giving it, so I'm not going to make it a requirement, but it would be awesome for those that can show up to show up and do that skill cert. You're going to get a nice certificate in the mail saying that, you know, you passed the skill cert or whatever. And then it helps me as well. It also helps our school as we're looking to provide more classes like criminal justice and this career technical education classes. Okay. So I will be sending more information on that. So the two things, big announcements, I guess, is that skill cert on October 14th and that I will actually be out of town next week. So we will not have live class next week, but you will have a recorded class that I'll be sending out. Okay. All right. So for our lesson today, I hate when it does that. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be going over basic law enforcement activities and components. And you'll be doing this assignment today, this lesson 4 assignment. Okay. And that's what the objective's on. It says, given a worksheet found in the OLS, which is where you can find it right here. Students will accurately answer basically the multiple choice, true and false, fill in the blank about police components with 80% accuracy across one trial. A lot of this information can be found right here in this PDF. So if you just click it and open it, it'll open to a nice PDF if you're signed in, and it'll go through all of it. Okay. So that will be your assignment for this week. Okay. Let's go over police components. So one of the biggest things about police and law enforcement is there's so many different things out there. There's so many different situations you have to prepare for. It's kind of like the military. You have no idea. A lot of it's physically enduring. It's very mentally enduring. It's very, you have to use certain tools in order to help other people, support other people, protect yourself and others. So it's very, very hard to be able to train for all of this. Okay. And most of what policemen, firefighters, first responders do is they start training. Okay. There's a lot of training that goes into it. So the first thing we're going to watch, and I guarantee I forgot to share my audio. Hold on real quick. Okay. Is we're going to look at a little bit about what it's like to go through the basic training, or the link's not working for you. Is anybody else in the near pod? Only one person's in the near pod. Hold on real quick. I'm sorry. That's a different near pod link I gave you guys. So I just submitted the right near pod link in the chat. Thank you for letting me know. I will let you guys get to it. I apologize. Because I looked and there's only like one person that's in here. Okay, well, hopefully you guys can catch back up. Yep, I got more people popping in now. Okay, I'm going to play the video real quick, and we'll go from there. And hopefully you guys can get on the Nearpod.
The Tarrant County College Criminal Justice Training Center, located on Northwest Campus in Fort Worth, has been in operation since 1980. It is committed to serving the training needs of law enforcement community and the community at large. Our vision is to serve as a beacon of innovation and excellence in criminal justice training through the 21st century and beyond. The Basic Peace Officer Academy is a cornerstone of our program. And in addition, we offer in-service training programs through continuing education. The Basic Peace Officer Academy prepares a cadet for a successful career in law enforcement. The cadet has the opportunity to attend the Basic Peace Officer Academy for college credit or for non-credit. If the cadet chooses the credit route, upon successful completion, they will earn 18 college credit hours. These hours will be applied to the Criminal Justice Associate's degree in Applied Science at Tarrant County College. The academy is only offered during the daytime hours from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, for approximately 20 weeks, totaling 776 training hours. The training consists of physical training, defensive tactics, police driving, OC spray, taser, firearms training, traffic stops, building searches, standardized field sobriety testing, reality-based training scenarios, and many more. Because of the physical nature of this training, the cadets must be able to perform strenuous physical activities. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, also known as TCO, reports that 959 cadets from the Tarrant County College Police Academy have achieved a perfect 100% pass rate on their state licensing exam for fiscal years 2008 through 2017. For more information, contact the Academy staff.
That was kind of the best video I found out there in regards to what the training's like for your basically, it's like basic training in the Army, right? They call it peace officer training. And so it's basically being able to go out there and be able to perform the basics, the very basics of becoming a police officer. So I have a question for you guys on the Nearpod. Would you want to go to basic training or like the peace officer training? If so, what aspects interest you the most? Now, I've heard all kinds of crazy things. I have a bunch of friends that have gone through the academy, and they've done some very interesting things. So I can share some of those with you in a second. But let's see what you guys have on here. What are some things that interest you in regards to the basic training? Say, yes, I actually want to go into the academy or the military. Yes, it would be humbling, right? They teach you a lot. You get out of your comfort zone, very physically and mentally demanding. I think these skills are super neat, but I'm not sure I want to go to this point. Okay. Okay. The physical aspect. Okay. It's not something I want to get into career-wise. Okay. I think so, to show people that cops are out there to help. Okay. Very good. Right. You know, it's kind of sad. For every 100 police officers there's probably one of them that probably is maybe a scumbag, right? And they're the ones that always show up on TV and they always highlight. Okay. Some things that I've heard that people have done when they go through is the taser. Okay. So everybody knows what a taser is, right? You know, you go shoot it, shoots electricity through yourself. One of the things is they require you to be tased so you know what it feels like, right? A lot of things before you do something, they want you that. Same with pepper spray, mace. Okay, yep, they will mace you in the eyes to show you what it feels like. Because if you're going to do that to somebody else, right, you probably should experience it to know it's like, hey, this is no kind of laughing matter that we want to do. I had one of my good buddies, he's part of the highway patrol. And so down by Camp Williams, if you know where Camp Williams is, kind of like in Lehigh area, there's actually a track that they perform on. And they learn how to do, you know, go and be involved in high-speed chases, which is pretty interesting. So they will fly around corners, you know, at so far, and they learn how to deal at high speeds. That's why a lot of these people, when they get in high-speed chases, you kind of see the police officers that are chasing them, they're just basically waiting for them to crash because they don't have the experience at high speeds as the training that these police officers have. Some other things you may have seen kind of on the video, they had scenarios on the board. So you kind of saw the two police officers and it looked like they were watching like some type of film. But what they were doing is they actually go through like simulations of people that are maybe hostile and see how the police officer reacts in those situations, right? So they are trying to get the training that they need in order to be successful in these situations. But it's very high pressure situations that they are under. And there's just a lot of things that they need to do, right? One of the things they have to do is writing reports, okay? Field notes. So after any kind of incident, they need to write these field notes. It's intended to aid their memory, aid in investigations, help develop leads on information, aid in court testimony or evidence that a statement or action incurred that was immediately recorded, okay? And so it's very important that they do this, because if you have a bad guy out there and they're wanting to, one of the loopholes they can kind of get away with is if the police officer was basically negligent and not accurately filling out reports and doing things. Report forms, okay? All law enforcement agencies provide forms that indicate what information is needed and in what format information is presented, okay? They have to use the correct forms of thing. They have to fill it out completely and legibly. Anything like that, one of those bad guys could get off, okay? Here's somewhat on a report format of what it would be like. So they usually have a case number, the date of the occurrence, the status of the case, whether that's active, inactive, cleared. Of course, these records are going to be filed away for years and years. The name, the rake, and the ID of the officer, the crime or activity that was investigated, the persons involved, the narrative of what happened, and then official action taken and final status of a report, okay? Report organization. The primary purpose of reports is to preserve information, record official actions, justify these actions, and aid further investigations. So what they do is they use the acronym POWER is how they kind of teach this in school. Planning the report, organizing the material, writing the report, evaluate, and then rewrite it again. So unfortunately, you know, all this action that that sometimes you kind of see that happens, a lot of it you have to write up what happened after and document things. This is something I find interesting, and I think I missed out on a video. Let me see if I can pull it over here real quick. But the use of emergency equipment, okay? And it's kind of interesting to basically see what officers use in the line of duty, and how one of the cool things is they have, I always thought it was cool how they have their belts and they have their utility belt, kind of like Batman almost. I'm going to pull this over real quick and we can watch this little video. Is that showing? Can you guys hear that? Awesome. Okay. We're going to go over this because this kind of tells a little bit about the things here.
This is Andre Da Silva for Cops Plus. Today we're going to break down the duty rig and go over the different components. For those of you new to law enforcement, all this gear can be a bit overwhelming, but it's actually straightforward once you know how it all goes together. Duty gear is available in 4 different finishes, typically decided by your department: plain, basket weave, high gloss, and nylon. The first one I want to show you is the simplest of the 4. It's a plain leather finish. As you can see, it's smooth without any texture. This is a police officers. Finally, we have nylon. A duty rig consists of 2 belts. The first one is called a garrison belt, and it works just like a standard pants belt. The second one, this is your duty belt. This is where all your gear attaches to, and it's also called a Sam Browne belt. How these 2 belts work together, we'll get to in just a minute. Here we have all the cases and holders that attach to your duty belt. Generally, these cases and pouches come in different sizes to accommodate different types of equipment. First off, we have a radio holder. This is how it attaches to your belt. It also features a strap that keeps your radio in place. Next off, we have handcuff holder. This holds a standard pair of chain link handcuffs. And this is how it attaches to your belt here. Next, we have a double handcuff pouch. Although it can be a little bulky, it's convenient to have 2 pairs of handcuffs. Next, we have an OC spray holder. This one features a top flap which keeps your spray in place until it needs to be deployed. Next, we have a double magazine pouch. This also features a top flap and a retention screw to keep your magazines in place. The neat feature on this one is it has 2 different belt slots, one for horizontal and one for vertical mounting. Next, we have a flashlight holder.
I think you guys kind of understand a little bit about all the stuff they kind of carry. That's something you can kind of look up a little more and go over about. But the use of emergency equipment, let's kind of go over there. So there's a code, code 3 or 1039. Are you still not hearing me? Are you able to hear me okay? No, oh, it's the video. Okay. I'll have to get the video a little bit better next time. So a 1039, it's the use of emergency lights or sirens. So they need to be called in order to do that. They also have Utah law, agency policy, and restrictions on basically sirens and when they can use them and how that works. The situation dictates a code 3, which is basically driving on there. Okay, so new rows being a bit laggy. I'm sorry to hear that. This is being recorded, so hopefully it's not laggy on the recording. So when I get there, we'll hopefully be able to go back and watch it. Okay, so the pursuit of the vehicle. We kind of talked about this before. I said my buddy that's on the highway patrol, he's been in a few, I guess, pursuit chases as they're driving. What they do is they start by notifying the dispatcher, immediately giving the complete description of the vehicle, the reason for the chase, and the number of occupants they can see in the vehicle and the information that they can find. They will go over and to stop them and to safely kind of get them over. They usually have a pursuit vehicles that's pursuit behind them, as well as helicopters they'll send up in the to chase them. As you kind of see, this picture right over here is a Chopper 4 is basically showing it right there. They will resort to basically laying what is it called? The strips down it then and force them into an area where they have to run over the strips to blow their tires, or it even allows that they've even shot out tires before in cars to get them to stop and pull over, because it really risks the lives of other people if they're going at high speeds. Another thing that's kind of interesting about law enforcement is they do have the command structure. Most law enforcement agencies are organized kind of along the lines of military. So this is so they can prevent duplication of services, to create efficiency and to determine expertise, and not to make the agency larger than is needed. So basically, disobedience of a direct order given by a supervising officer is grounds for disciplinary action or even dismissal from the force. Radio procedures. There's certain radio procedures you can see. I think you probably understand when they're talking to them. They're governed by the departmental policy and basically common sense. All radio transmissions are preceded by the call of the unit's identifying number, car number. There's 3 beeps on the unit radio, means emergency. Okay, information will proceed. So I don't know if you've had been around some police officers that have been on duty, and so what they're doing is they're actually listening for the 3 beeps, and if they have that, they know there's an emergency to follow. The use of the 10 code is used for a short radio traffic and transmission security. So here's some common 10 codes that you can kind of see. 10-4 is acknowledgement. Okay, 10-21, make a call. 10-33, officer needs help quick. 10-50 is an accident. And you can kind of see some other ones that are driver's license check, vehicle check, current location. 10-2 is the end. I'd have to look that up. Good question, though. I like how you guys are. So 10-2. I'm going to look it up real quick just so you guys know. Um, 10-2 is receiving well. This is what I see that I pulled up from. Here's all the different 10 codes, as you can see. 1099's jailbreak, 1098 riot, (10-4) as we talked about, acknowledgement, call by blank. So pretty interesting. And that's something, if you want to be a police officer, you'd probably be able to memorize and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, the use of force. Okay, so the use of force, this is something that's I guess kind of big in the subject today when we're talking about riots that are going on and people are using force. All road blocks, if used, must have an escape route, even if it's a dangerous one. So it's something that they require. There's different levels of force. So force can be the mere presence of an officer. It could be verbal commands. It could be hands-on physical contact. It could be pepper spray, which we've talked about pepper spray and mace. It could be an impact weapons. It could be also canine. We got the canine units that are out and about. Probably seen those. And then also deadly force. The use of firearms, which we would be considered the use of deadly force, is police carry firearms so they can protect themselves in the community. They may only wear this under very specific circumstances outlined by law. The firearm will not be removed from the holster except for use, inspection, or storage, never removed to show or tell others. Right? That was something I always wanted to, when I had like the school resource officer, like, hey, can you show us your gun? You know, no, right? It's a law that they need to keep that in, and it remains there only for these instances. Officers can only carry firearm authorized by their department, so there's certain ones they have to carry. Officers must remain qualified to have those firearms carried. So they go through quite an extensive shooting procedure to understand that they can shoot these properly, they're aiming properly, and they are mentally capable of doing this. Pistol proficiency course, that's what it is. It's a timed and scored shoot on a known distant range. This is common training for all firearms qualifications. Okay, the use of deadly force. This can be carrying out lawful executions, okay, which doesn't seem to happen very much anymore. To protect self or others, this is when it's justified. To make arrest or stop escape of someone when there is probable cause to believe significant threat of death or serious physical injury exists. Okay, and then also to prevent escape of some prisoners. The use of deadly force is a split-second decision. And that's why it's so hard to be able to judge kind of what people are thinking, right? If a person has, you know, their hands in their pockets, right, and they've been resisting arrest, and you ask them if they have a firearm and they won't tell you, or some type of weapon, and they go and they fastly take their hands out of their pockets, what do you do as an officer, right? They want to get home to their families. They want everybody else to be safe around them. And it's just a hard split-second decision they have to be relied to make. Combat shooting is the firing of a weapon from a protective position or cover. The procedure utilizes combat shooting firearms related. So drawing, gripping, stance, cover, breathing, sighting, trigger pull, and scan the area. So weapons, basically being able to use these weapons, they go through extensive training to do that. So that gets us up on our time for today. Just to recap real quick, what is due is there is this worksheet that you will be doing. That's your exit ticket / assignment for this week. What you'll do is copy these questions down. There's true, false, and then short answers. You can find these all in this document right here. So if you pull that up, and then you'll just copy and paste it and submit that. So that is your assignment for this week. Okay. All right. Do you guys have any questions or anything like that? Just a reminder, I will not be around next week, so you'll have a recorded lesson for next week. Okay. If you guys are good, you're free to go. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me all this time, and we'll talk with you later.